This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking Sherry
All right,
will.
are we ready?
You're asking me if I'm ready?
All right, welcome everybody. It's Forgiveness Wednesdays, and I'm here. I'm Sherry Hamilton. I'm coming from Alabama in the U.S., and I want you to know that all this month and maybe for several weeks to come, Dr. Annette Cargioli has made this available for those of us who do emotional polarity technique to offer as many sessions as we can here. And we have Forgiveness Tuesdays, Forgiveness Wednesdays, and Forgiveness Fridays. And I'm the practitioner today. I've been practicing EPT for well over 20 years. And we've shifted to this virtual form and demonstrations because this is not how we normally work, but because of the circumstances, we're doing this, and it's pushing us all as practitioners. And I want to welcome Dana Lupo. She's here from Israel, and she's come to some of our sessions, and she's agreed to be my client today. And how are you today, Dana?
I'm fine, thank you.
How are you today, Dana? Are you good?
Yes, I'm good. Do you hear me?
You're welcome. Thanks for doing this. And I want to, yes, I do. And you can hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you okay.
Can you hear me okay as well?
Yes,
all right.
Yes, I hear
so
you.
I'd like to get your agreement that you're okay with this being, I'd like to get your agreement that you're okay with this being recorded today.
Yes, sure. Yes.
All right. Now thanks. Okay, so we call this Forgiveness Fridays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays because the technique of emotional polarity technique really uses forgiveness to resolve the unresolved emotional patterns that are keeping us blocked from something. So is there something that you particularly are thinking you want to work on with what you know about emotional polarity technique?
Yes, there are two things that in this period quite disturb me. One of them is that I have a new boss.
Okay.
I had a boss, female boss for 20 years, and now it's a man, which I experience him as a very, how can I explain it? The words, the English is disturbing me. I feel that he uses force against me. I don't know why. And when I start to talk with him, I feel like I freeze. I forget everything I know, and I freeze. I don't know why. I feel a kind of fear, as I can't say what I know and what I want to say. There are some things that professionally I know that I know even better than him, and I don't dare to say it because the way he reacts, I feel that I can't talk. I can't express myself, and even not professionally, if I want to say something like a regular thing, I think twice. I don't feel free to talk to him. And it's, of course, it causes tension. I feel that I'm not myself at work, not fulfilling, not give the full of myself and the potential. And the other thing is that maybe there is connection between the two. I have to do very important presentation for us at work. And I know all the professional material, but I find it hard to accomplish it. I take it too heavy, and each time I sit in front of the computer, I feel like it's a lack of blank. I know the material, I know what I want to say there, but I don't know. I can't go on with it. I stuck all the time, and I feel like I don't want to deal with it.
All right. Right. Well, that sounds great for an EPT session, and I understand your concepts that you're getting across to me, even though you said you don't speak English very well. You speak well enough to communicate very well to me, and I think we'll get there. And you're welcome to stop me and say something else if you need to anytime. Just you're fine to do that. So let's go to the two things. The first one, you were saying about your new boss and he uses force against you. We might use the word intimidation, like he
Yes.
comes down heavy on you for some reason. And
Yes,
it freezes you up rather than feeling relaxed. When you freeze, then you forget what you know, even though you are aware that you know. I'm just restating everything you said. So when you freeze, you forget what you know, even though you yourself know your things very well. You know your business, and sometimes better than him. But it's difficult with the fear and the freezing to have a conversation or to move forward with him.
Yes,
and
that's
even
right.
on a personal level, you said you can't speak freely with him without feeling that fear coming up in you. So the second thing that you were saying is that having to do an important work presentation, and it's hard to accomplish it, and you feel feel stuck when you sit down in front of the computer, and you don't want to face it, you said?
Yes,
Or face the fear?
I don't want to deal with it because I see that it's difficult for me to accomplish it. I feel that something is stuck there and I can't open it.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see what we can do with helping you to feel more comfortable in both of these situations just in the few minutes that we have today. I'm going to, you don't happen to have magnets with you, right?
No, I don't have.
You don't use magnets for any of your work? Okay, that's fine. We'll use your hands. So the first thing I want you to do is just put your hands on your head like this, with your palms above your ears, and you just squeeze gently on the inhale, and then you release on the exhale. And we do 2 more of those. Breathe. And breathe. And we're going to do 3 more breaths together. And this time you're going to still hold the sides of your head, but you're going to put one finger at the bridge of your nose and maybe your thumb at the back base of your skull. So, and then you squeeze your head and lift up. And breathe. And release. And breathe in. And you do 3 of these breaths. And when you're done with your 3rd breath, you take your hands down off your head. That's just a way to give you some balance. And then I also like to tap the head all over. This is a good way to bring your head to alert your brain that you're in present time. And then you can take your hands down, and you can do the tapping throughout if you feel like it. That exercise alone is really good to remember, even when you're sitting down at your computer. If you feel stuck, that exercise will help you come into getting your brain connected. All right. But it's not going to be as powerful. I mean, we're going to come up with some memories here on these 2 things. So I'm going to do muscle testing on this side to read your energy field. And I'm going to start with your first issue, or your first difficulty with the boss. So we're going to start there with the boss. The stress, the subjective units of distress are testing at a 10, which is high. So it just says that in your physiology, you have a very high level of stress, which is what you've described. I'm also getting that as a reaction on this side. There's no subjective units of elation. So that's a good thing from my testing. We want the elation to be a positive not to a negative in your physiology. Stage of healing is considered 1 in your physiology. We want to get it to 5, 6, or 7. And then with showing up, paying attention, telling the truth is where there's a crash on statements of congruency. So these things will come into play when I get into statements with you and have you repeating statements with me. So one issue to help this, and when you think of this issue, you don't know what it is, but your body knows what it is. So I get a reaction. I put my hand here, pull it down, who, and the who is you. So I'm going to put you. Organ is heart. And on the heart, I'm looking for my charts. Have a heart. There's emotions on the heart. Insecurity, and you feel your insecurity, and you've described that with your current boss. I feel my insecurity with my boss now, because he uses force against me. Okay, so that's exactly what you've described. Is there anything else you think of that you want to add to that that's actually the current issue?
What I feel that we talk, even though both of us speak Hebrew, of course, we kind of speak 2 different languages. That's what I feel all the time. He doesn't mean he interpret what I say. I don't mean he interpret it in one way, and I never meant what he thought I'm saying. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes. That he changes the meaning of what you said to work against you.
Yes, that's how he understands me. I don't think it's in purpose, but I'm trying to express myself, and he doesn't understand me the way I mean the things to be said.
All right.
He doesn't understand the meaning.
Original time in your life, I'm going to ask. Right. So you're trying to get the meaning across, and then the way he receives it ends up turning around negative toward you.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
Right? All right. So at original time, you felt a similar insecurity in your life. Age 2, I'm doing a flow chart with my muscle testing. So when you were 2, which is really early verbally, at 2 years old, you felt your insecurity. So my insecurity with my dad. Security. Do you have any idea, would your dad have spanked you when you were 2? Or would there be a reason he would use force on you?
On me, I don't know. It has to be on me, or maybe on my mother, or something like that. Can it be, or it's on me?
I feel my insecurity with dad toward myself. Yeah, with you. Was he was there when you were 2?
Yes, he was there, and he was very nervous person. So maybe I felt it as a child, but I don't know about. I don't know if I experienced something directly. I don't know. And he's dead, so I can't ask.
Okay, but you said, right. No, that's fine. Did you see him with doing any force against your mom? You mentioned against your mom.
Not physical force, but he was very nervous all the time, very angry, and sometimes he internalized it, and sometimes he shouted and expressed it. But he was very nervous inside all the time, nervous and angry.
All right.
So maybe that's
nervous and angry, where sometimes he explodes.
Yes, that's right.
He would explode sometimes.
Yes, but
All right,
towards
so
me,
so that's something you know about him. So sometimes,
yes.
right. And as a 2-year-old, you don't always know. I mean, he could just be exploding, but you're in the room and you feel it.
Yes, I think
right?
so, because
But
towards
it would
us,
be because
I don't hear you.
how many other children were in your home when you were 2?
Only me. My mother was pregnant. She was, I think, right before birth or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here's what we want to do. I felt my insecurity with Dad at age 2 because he uses force. And we're just going to say he uses force because of what you know of his history. He would explode sometimes he wouldn't. He had this nervous anger.
Yes,
he uses force.
Yes, yes.
And
Yeah,
force really with his words,
yes. Yes, that's right.
And it's very interesting now that psychiatry and psychology and psychiatry now understand that words, forceful, angry words to a child are like hitting them on the head.
Yes, I can understand that.
So you're very sensitive as a child to the force of words and probably the inconsistency of his pattern. You can't tell when he's going to explode or when he's not.
Yes, that's right.
So he uses force. All right, so what I want you to do is put one hand over your heart like this, palm side, and one hand over your forehead. All right, and then you're going to breathe in and out 3 times, thinking of this 2-year-old self. Breathe. And breathe. Make them good ins and outs, because we're interrupting the pattern, we're slowing it down, and then you remove your hands when you're done with your 3 breaths. I'm going to ask if, from my side, is there another emotion, and there is another emotion that we want to interrupt in this old pattern you set up at age 2, and it's going to be on the liver, and the emotion is anger, and this is Dad's anger. Dad's anger, I can read on your body. It's got a charge on your liver. So I feel Dad's anger because of his force. It's not really, it's just Dad's anger. I feel it. So I feel Dad's anger when I'm 2. He uses force. So what I want you to do, this is your lower right rib cage. You're going to put your hand over your rib on your lower right rib cage and a hand on your forehead. And breathe in and out 3 times. Breathe. Really nice, long in and out. Thinking of Dad's anger. And breathe. And then I want you to remove your hands when you're done with your 3 breaths. I ask if there's another emotion. There is not another emotion. Yeah, when you're done with your 3 breaths, this is considered a phase 1 protocol for trauma. And phase 1 means that the right side of your brain, your amygdala, it goes crazy looking for a way of escape. You go into like just sort of a fright flight look. The right side of your brain or the left side of your brain shuts down and the 2 brains cannot communicate. And this would be that freezing, I gotta look, I'm afraid. So just the intimidation, the anger of Dad and not knowing what's going on as a 2-year-old, just the force. So we want to calm this side of your brain down and we want to wake this side of your brain up. And we're going to do that with the palm side to your right brain above your ear. Yeah, hopefully you won't get tired holding your hands up here. And then you want to do the nail side of this hand on the left brain. Yep. Yeah, the nail side. That mimics the two sides of the magnets, north-south pole. So this is like a north pole magnet to cool and calm this side down while it's scared about the anger of dad. And then the right side, the left side of the brain with the nail side is like the south pole to alert and wake up this side. And then I'm going to just also take your hand just for a moment and tap down the midline of your brain. And take a breath in and out, because we want this brain to wake up and we want to start giving it a new pattern. Because as we're doing these statements, you are allowing the two parts of your brain to start making pathways that you haven't had. So these pathways will help for you to process that fear and frozen better. All right, you ready? I gave you some statements to say. All right. I acknowledge the insecurity I feel with my boss now.
I acknowledge the insecurity I feel with my boss now.
Now, and take a breath in and out. Okay. So I'm going to keep giving you statements, and at the end of each statement, you take a breath in and out. If you need to take a little break with your arms, you can. Sometimes I lean over and support my arms. All right. I acknowledge this insecurity because he uses force.
I acknowledge this insecurity because he uses force.
And breathe. I forgive my reaction to my boss.
I forgive my reaction to my boss.
My boss, where I freeze and forget what I know.
I forgive my boss when I freeze and forget what I know.
What I know, and breathe. Okay. I forgive my reaction.
I don't hear you. It stops sometimes.
I forgive my reaction.
I forgive my reaction.
Okay. I forgive my reaction of insecurity.
Of insecurity.
Of insecurity.
Yes, of insecurity.
With my boss.
With my boss.
Yeah, with my boss when I freeze and forget what I know.
When I freeze and forget what I know.
Forget what I know. Take a breath. All right. I forgive this experience.
I forgive this experience. I can't hear.
For touching a sensitivity within me.
For touching a sensitivity within me.
A memory from age 2.
A memory from age 2.
Where I felt insecure.
Where I felt insecure.
I felt my dad's anger outburst.
I felt my dad's anger outburst.
And his use of force.
And his use of force.
And breathe. I forgive my 2-year-old self.
I forgive my 2-year-old self.
For freezing and shutting down.
For freezing and shutting down.
With insecurity and anger.
With insecurity and anger.
Anger with the person I loved.
I didn't hear.
with my dad, who I loved.
With my dad, who I loved.
With I loved. And breathe. Take a breath. I forgive my 2-year-old self.
I forgive my 2-year-old self.
For not having any power.
For not having any power.
When my dad had an angry outburst.
When my dad had an angry outburst.
And breathe. I forgive my 2-year-old self.
I forgive my 2-year-old self.
For not having any words.
For not having any words.
Words or ability to know what to do.
Or ability to know what to do.
With my dad's angry outburst.
When my dad angry, I didn't hear.
Outburst.
Outburst.
Yeah. And force.
And force.
And his force.
And his
and
force.
Breathe. Yeah, take a good breath. I forgive my 2-year-old self.
I forgive my 2-year-old self.
For being afraid of my dad's force.
For being afraid of my dad's force.
That's force. And remembering the insecurity and anger.
And remembering the insecurity and anger.
Anger with my dad.
Anger with my dad.
And breathe. I forgive my dad now.
I forgive my dad now.
For his angry outbursts.
For his angry outbursts.
That scared me and made me insecure.
That scared me and made me insecure.
As a 2-year-old.
As a 2-year-old.
I forgive my dad.
I forgive my dad.
For scaring me when I was 2.
For scaring me when I was 2.
And breathe. I forgive my 2-year-old self.
I forgive my 2-year-old self.
For internalizing my fear.
For internalizing my fear.
My small lack of power.
My small lack of power.
And my my separation from the dad I loved.
And my separation from the dad I loved.
Loved and I knew to be good to me.
And I knew, loved and I knew to be good to me.
I knew he was good to me. And breathe. I forgive myself in the situation now.
I forgive myself in the situation now.
For being reminded of this memory.
For being reminded of this memory.
Memory from when I was 2.
From when I was 2.
2. And I loved my dad.
And I loved my dad.
But I got very scared and insecure.
But I got very scared and insecure.
Because of his angry outburst.
Because of his angry outburst.
Yeah, and breathe. All right. I forgive myself now.
I forgive myself now.
For what I've been unable to do.
For what I've been unable to do.
To force myself to show up.
To force myself to show up.
Show up and express my skills in my work.
And express my skills in my work.
And breathe. I forgive myself now.
I forgive myself now.
For being sensitive to force.
For being sensitive to force.
And for feeling the old insecurity.
And for feeling the old insecurity.
And lack of power at age 2.
And lack of power at age 2.
When I try to force myself to do my work.
When I try to force myself to do my work.
And breathe. I forgive my 2-year-old self.
I forgive my 2-year-old self.
For experiencing anger and force together.
For experiencing anger and force together.
Force together in the body of my dad.
I didn't hear.
In the body of my dad.
In the body of my dad.
Dad, and breathe. I forgive myself for feeling anger when there is force.
I forgive myself for feeling anger when there's force.
And getting shut down with fear.
And getting shut down with fear.
Because of this memory at age 2.
Because of this memory at age 2.
And breathe. Even though when I was 2.
Even though when I was 2.
I couldn't do anything about my dad's angry force.
I couldn't do anything about my dad's angry force.
I am no longer 2.
I am no longer 2.
I have a lot of experience and capability now.
I have a lot of experience and capability now.
That's far beyond the age of 2.
That's far beyond the age of 2.
Take a breath. I forgive myself now.
I forgive myself now.
For being aware of the insecurity and anger.
For being aware of the insecurity and anger.
That made me very afraid as a child.
That made me very afraid as a child.
that that no longer exists.
That is no longer exists.
Yeah, in the relationships and work that I do now.
In the relationships and work that I do now.
Now, and breathe. Yeah. I give my 2-year-old self permission to be free.
I give my 2-year-old permission to be free.
Free from the fear and lack of knowledge.
From this fear and lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge of how to deal with my dad's force.
Knowledge of how to deal with my dad's force.
My dad's force. And breathe. I call up the internalized fear from 2.
I call up the internalized fear from 2.
Fear 2. Out of my mind, body, and spirit.
Out of my mind, body, and spirit.
I say yes to it.
I say yes to it.
And I release it with love and gratitude.
And I release it with love and gratitude.
And breathe. In the space where I have held.
In the space where I have held.
In the space. Internalized anger and insecurity.
In the space where I internalized fear,
Anger.
Anger and insecurity.
And fear with force.
And fear with
force. Yeah, I open up massive space now.
I open up massive space now.
Yeah, and breathe. I give myself permission to relax.
I give myself permission to relax.
Even when there is force happening.
Even when there is force
happening, I can relax.
I can relax.
And respond in new ways.
And respond in new ways.
And breathe. Without the need to carry.
Without the need to carry.
The old response of insecurity and anger.
The old response of insecurity and anger.
I am free to respond with new ways.
I'm free to respond with new ways.
That are more comfortable.
That are more comfortable.
That are safe and secure.
That are safe and secure.
And create greater happiness and communication.
And create greater happiness and communication.
Communication and satisfaction.
And satisfaction.
That I couldn't do when I was 2.
That I couldn't do when I was 2.
And breathe. Yeah. I'm free to stop having to show up.
I'm free to stop having to show up.
Show up and force myself to do my work.
And force myself to do my work.
Because it's what I really want to do.
Because it's really what I want to do.
Yeah. Want to do. I'm brave. Yeah. I'm free to let go of what my 2-year-old wanted.
I'm free to let go of what my 2-year-old wanted.
I wanted my dad to be calm.
I wanted my dad to be calm.
I wanted him to pick me up in his arms.
I wanted him to pick me up in his arms.
And be calm and happy with me.
And be calm and happy with me.
I didn't want him to be angry.
I didn't want him to be angry.
Yeah. Brave and brave. I'm free to see my dad calm.
I'm free to see my dad calm.
And to pick up my little girl self.
And to pick up my little girl self.
And he tells me, I'm sorry, I was angry.
And he tells me, I'm sorry I was angry.
I'm sorry that I couldn't control myself.
I'm sorry that I couldn't control myself.
I'm sorry that you felt insecure.
I'm sorry that you felt insecure.
I want you to know you're loved. Yeah.
I want you to know you're loved.
He tells me I want you to know loved. And that you are going to do amazing things.
And that you are going to do amazing things.
And you make me very proud to be your dad.
And you make me very proud to be your dad.
Your dad and brave. Yeah. I give myself permission to accept my dad the way he was.
I give myself permission to accept my dad the way he was.
Yeah. I'm brave. I'm free to let go of grief.
I'm free to let go of grief.
Grief.
Yes.
Over the force and the anger.
Over the force and the anger.
That scared me as a child.
That scared me as a child.
Yeah, I'm brave. I'm free to resolve the situations now.
I'm free to resolve the situations now.
By showing up with kindness and respect.
By showing up kindness and respect.
And the ability to speak what I know clearly and kindly.
And the ability to speak what I know clearly and kindly.
Even when it can be uncomfortable or tough.
Even when it can be uncomfortable or tough.
I can do this.
I can do this.
I can do this. Embrace. All right, we're going to do like one more. I raise my level of acceptance.
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 To any resistance I feel.
To any resistance I feel.
To any resistance I or cannot feel.
To any resistance I feel or cannot feel.
For knowing I can communicate clearly.
For knowing I can communicate clearly.
Clearly, with kindness and respect.
I didn't hear. I didn't hear
kindness and respect.
The kindness and respect.
Right, with kindness and respect.
With kindness and respect.
And respect and precision.
And precision.
Relaxation.
Relaxation.
And completeness.
And completeness.
With who I am as a whole person now.
With who I am as a whole person now.
And breathe. Yeah, okay. Whew. Yeah. All right. Tell me how you're feeling, Dana. Thoughts. Wow.
I feel great. I feel that everything was, all the affirmations you said were accurate. And
wow.
my father died because of cirrhosis of the liver. And I feel the liver all the time. So it was
wow.
Yes, it was very real for me. And I feel something is moving, and I felt my father beside me suddenly in the middle of
oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Yes, I felt
that is so amazing.
Yes, I felt that he supports me while I'm doing it, and it's like it's also for him. I don't know how to. I felt him very strongly around me, like
I love that.
Very weird. Yes, it was very strong and loving.
Yeah, the good positive force.
Yes, the forgiveness is
that's
so
wonderful.
strong. Yes, it was. Thank you very much. It was very
profound,
very strong.
So welcome. We're not quite. Yeah. I love all your comments and your experience. I thank you for sharing. We're not quite done because we're going to go back and I'm going to retest where we started. Was if you think about your boss, my test is strong. Do you feel like if you think about your boss, you might be able to have like you feel? Can you tell if you're still scared in the thoughts with him?
No, I feel like it opened my heart for him, towards him. I feel open towards him.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So that gives you that step forward. And then the second thing was in your work presentation to sit down in front of your computer. Can you feel how that feels to think about?
I feel curious, not stress. I'm curious.
I like that.
Yes. I want to work
okay,
on
so
it.
You're strong there. And then excellent. Yeah. So your distress is actually down to 0 on my charts, which is called the subjective units of distress. Elation on the good, that, like you said, your curiosity, your ability to like consider, I can show up with my dad's love, I feel full there, and I can face my boss. Your subjective units of elation are testing at a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Stages of healing is up to a 7, which is new experiences in life, and all of the congruencies are good. So that is a complete session. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you very much. You are amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
I feel it.
you.
It continue to move inside. I felt something is moving.
Yay, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. That's it. That's the
Yes,
power and the fun of and the joy of EPT. I'm glad you
yes,
experienced that. Oh, way across the world. What a treat for us.
yes, amazing. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. I
so
feel
good to
so
work with you
lucky
too.
because I didn't plan it.
All right.
I thought I'm going to be a listener, and suddenly I got a gift, a present. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was amazing. And now we've got a recording too. That's really good. I think Dr. Annette's going to come back on here. And anybody that we can open it up for comments. Uh,
That was great.
Anybody
That
opening
was
up
so
their
good.
mics for comments? Yeah.
I love hearing about your dad and his presence because that is not a real unusual thing. It's amazing when that someone has that sense and that feeling of a spiritual support coming from someone who's really close, and they like that's all happening with you while we don't even know that until you tell us, and that's amazing. I love that because I've heard that before and it always just takes my breath away. So thank you so
Yes,
much for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Thank you. I feel him now, by the way. I feel the presence of his something
Mm-hmm.
very weird, but it's amazing.
I would say that it was a reconnection,
It is.
a
That's cool.
reconnection to the love that you always knew existed between your dad and you were able to make that bigger than the fear of the force. And
Yes, and
that's amazing.
the fear of the force, when I was 2, and it's stuck in my body and my subconscious, but I now understand that because he lost control, I didn't respect him so much. And now I see that from the same reason I didn't respect my boss. And now I see my
Wow.
boss and him from another angle. It's like the perspective is widened and I see them, they're just human like me, and something changes. I see them as human beings that trying the best they can, and my father
That's
and my
amazing.
boss. Yes, it's really
That
amazing.
that is incredible. You will
Yay.
continue to you're going to
So
continue to feel
amazing.
relief. Um, Even over the next few days, you will notice things that you're just going, wow, that is still working, as everything kind of resets to this new story that's much more empowering. Um, there are changes that you will see and in your life over the next few days, but even in the next 6 months, you will like look around and say, after I did that session, a lot of things changed in my life. It will happen like a lot faster than the usual, where somebody just feels, what you said, you felt so stuck. So
Yes, yes.
it'll
I
be good.
have
It'll
no
be
doubt.
good. Yeah.
I
So
have no doubt because
Linda,
I understand the process. I can feel it.
that's incredible. So Linda said she could send you, if you send her an email
Ah,
in the chat
yeah, sure.
copy, she can email you the chat copy. So you can read all the statements, and we'll also email you a copy of the session.
Yes, I'll be glad. And where can I buy your magnets? The ones you use. Just a minute. I'm writing and speaking. It's okay. My mail.
If you want to get magnets, I'm pretty sure if you talk to Linda, she can ship you magnets. So
Okay.
she's the one who will make sure you get, there it is, yeah. And she'll connect you, she'll send you a note about how to get magnets.
Okay,
Okay?
and how to pay and all that. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, we hope we see you again. And if you have any other updates, that would be great too.
Yes, me too. I'm waiting for the time that I'll come to study to Indiana. Where are you from?
Yeah, we're in Indiana.
Yes, Indiana. So after the times of Corona, I hope that you'll see me there.
Oh, Corona.
Yes.
99.5% survive.
Yes, yes. But meanwhile, we can't fly, so I can't come.
You never know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much.
Well,
it was amazing.
Thank you. And thank you, Sherry. That was amazing. It was so incredible watching the two of you. It was so good.
Sherry, thank you so much.
It was enjoyable.
I'm speechless.
You are so welcome, Dana. Great working with you.
Glad.
It was great. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks
and the next one of these, we have Friday at 1 o'clock. So Friday at 1 this week, and next week times may change depending because things are starting to open up now with Corona. So we don't know if we'll do it in the middle of the day, but we may still keep it. I don't mind having a small group at all. When then somebody like Dana just pops in and we go, Dana, you want a session?
Wow, it was amazing.
That was really
so
nice.
lucky.
That was great. That was great. All right, so I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.